you have to write what you know.
Yeah.
Because it will resonate. The audience will meet you halfway, and they will understand in their own way or with their own take on they'll bring their own experience to your experience, and that's when magic happens. That's what I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So then what happened after that?
I directed 2 productions of Fat Girls, and one was at the California Conservatory of the Arts, and then one was at a theater company in Laguna Beach, California. And it was extremely gratifying because it was my vision, and I did it the way I wanted to do it, and it was wonderful. And then I said, I'm done. I'm putting it out in the world, and I don't need to ever direct it again. I kind of got it out of my system.
Now, when you say you put it out there in the world, is that where Smith Kraus came into play?
Well, what happened with Smith Kraus was I had already had several books published with them, monologue books and scene books.
Monologue books and scene books.
With Smith Kraus Publishers.
Now, when you say that, are you saying that you wrote all the monologues in the book? Or your pieces were in there?
Yes. My very first book that was published was... It's a very long title.
Go for it. We got the time.
It's called The Ultimate Audition Book for Teens, Volume 4, 111 one-minute monologues. It's a lot of one minutes. It's a whole series that Smith & Kraus puts out for teens.
Did you write?
I wrote 111 monologues, Lisa. Yeah, for teenagers.
Is it still available? Can
Absolutely.
they find it on, where do they find it?
You can find it in your local bookstore, Barnes & Noble, Borders. You can get it at barnesandnoble.com. You can get it at amazon.com. You can go directly to the Smith & Kraus website, which is smithandkraus.com.
I mean, if our audiences Googled your name,
yes,
and publications, what would come? They would easily be able to find all of your work.
Yeah, it's
and you've got volumes of work.
I've Googled myself. Can I admit that?
How often? Every day? Or?
No, I'm not that bad. Just wanted to see what's going on. And yeah, that book it's in public libraries.
Cool.
It's, very easily available. So I have the monologue book. After the monologue book, I wrote a scene book for teens, 55 scenes for teens, 55. Oh my God. I wrote them all. And then the third one, I wrote 20 10-minute plays for teens. A lot of writing. I was very prolific.
Oh my word.
Then I started editing, got smart, had other people do the work.
And you just edited.
And I just edited.
I'll take you, I'll take you.
Exactly. So 2 of the editing books I did for Smith & Kraus were teenagers writing monologues for themselves, for teens for teens. And I put a search out, and I had a bunch of monologues submitted to me, local high schools, things like that, and then I edited that down. And I did the same thing with a 10-minute play book, 10-minute plays for teens, by teens. Wow. Some good writers out there.
Yes, from their voice, right from the horse's mouth.
Right.
So now, at this point, you've had a lot of these publications out there. At the point that Smith & Kraus offered you a contract to publish Fat Girls.
Yes, I had a great relationship with Smith & Kraus. They've been wonderful to me, and I contacted Eric Kraus and I said, I have this play. And I told him the whole history of it, and I said, can you possibly get my foot in the door at Samuel French? And he said, let me see what I can do. And he, another mutual admiration society. I really like Eric. He's terrific. So I can't remember the time that went by, but I get a call from Eric, and he said that Smith & Kraus decided to launch their own play licensing. And they wanted Fat Girls, and they were going to launch it. It was they had 3 plays to launch in the initial stages of their licensing division.
I remember when this happened.
And they asked me if I wanted to go with them. And I thought, well, I already have a great relationship. Why not? Well, they did 2 things for me. They included Fat Girls in the anthology, The Best New Playwrights of 2003. So it's in that anthology.
Best New Playwrights.
It's called New Playwrights, the Best Plays of 2003.
Wow, because I'm in the Best Women
I know.
of 2003.
Oh, the same year. That's funny. See, we have more in common than we know.
Cool.
Okay, so same year, but I'm in New Playwrights, the Best Plays.
Great.
And then almost right after that, they published Fat Girls in its own acting version,
Great.
thin little acting script.
So if people out there want to get a hold of this great play, they contact Smith & Kraus.
Smith & Kraus, it's also, I saw it, I don't know, it's actually being sold at the Samuel French bookstore in L.A.
Oh, sure, yeah,
So,
they sell
other publishers.
Other publishers, great.
So it's there at Drama Books in New York. You can find it. I saw it on the shelf in Borders, which was exciting.
That's
it's exciting
very
when you see your stuff on the shelf.
You kind of want to go, does everybody, did you know this is me?
On
the shelf here.
Yeah, exactly. I was in Portland a couple months ago, and a friend of mine took me to Powell's Books, which is huge, 6 stories, a mile long. I don't know, I'm not getting these right, but we went into Powell's and found my book on the shelf, and he said, "You're in Powell's." I didn't want to be jaded, like, I know, I've seen it before. I'm never going to get jaded. It's
well, in show business, you don't really, because you can be out of that store as quick as you're in it.
That's right. Well, this is what I said, not to be sour grapes, but I said, they only have one.
Yeah.
I have more.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's a good attitude.
Yeah.
So take us from there then. So Smith & Kraus publishes that play. Then where did your life go?
Then
you're in L.A.
Yes, and I was teaching. I was teaching teens acting, and I never realized how much I loved acting until I started to teach it.
Wow.
I really had respect for the craft, and when you think about it, my acting life is much longer than my writing life. Gary Garrison,
love him,
Dramatists Guild.
Yes.
He said something that will always stick with me. He said, "We are as old as our creative life." So if I've only been writing for 5 years, I'm only 5 years old as a writer.
How fun.
Don't you love that?
I do like that.
So when you're struggling, you think, but I'm only 5. So I have so far to go, and I have a lot to learn.
Yes, and Ray Bradbury, I had the privilege of meeting him. He said that you don't get any good till you've been writing for 20 years.
Wow, so we have a long time to go.
Yeah. I wrote my first play, though, 20 years ago.
You
so
did?
I'm now expecting to be good.
Well, you are.
I'm waiting. It's about to happen.
You are. I recommend your stuff all the time. I just want to tell you this, and I'll say it on camera. But I teach teens, and I teach. My teens are now older, and they're all graduating college, and I'm feeling much older. But I always recommend that monologue from Waiting.
From Waiting to Cindy monologue.
I love that. Love that.
Oh, thank you. I can write something good every now and then.
Every now and then, right? Yeah, I know.
Maybe I'm skipping ahead. About the Samuel French Festival, I know that your play, Mind Control, was accepted. And that's a big deal because how many submissions do they get?
The number kept changing, but it was approximately 900 submissions.
900 submissions, and how many do they?
40.
40. And then they narrow down from there.
And they narrow it down. It's an entire week-long festival with about 6 or 7 performances a night. And then then they passed on maybe 1 or 2 from each session to the final round.
Yeah.
And then so it came down to 12 in the final round, and then at the end of the day, they offer 6 playwrights publishing contracts. Oh. I was not one of the 6 or one of the 12.
Yeah, but boy, out of 900, you're one of 40.
Let me tell you,
that's really an honor.
It was kind of extraordinary that this happened. And Mind Control was written in your workshop.
In the workshop.
Yeah. So it all sort of comes full circle, doesn't it?
Yes.
In a way.
And here we are. Yeah.
The only time I had seen it was when we did the showcase for the playwriting workshop. And I always thought this was one of my strongest pieces. And I was always frustrated that nothing ever happened with it. It was literally, sitting on my hard drive. It wasn't published. It wasn't produced. It's my fault.
Did Larry Harbison, did you see him when you were in New York?
No, I invited him to the festival. He wasn't able to make it.
He wasn't able to make it. Have you submitted Mind Control to him?
No, I think there might have been a conflict, since he works for Smith & Kraus.
Oh,
so
to have him come scouting Samuel French.
I think that's why he might not have come. And now that Samuel French is not publishing it, it's up for grabs. So maybe.
Oh, definitely. Send it to Larry. He'll love it.
I think he will.
Oh, he'll love your work. Absolutely.